What's going on YouTube? This is Jetfire back again for you guys in another video, and today we're going to be talking about Clayster. Uh, does he have the worst luck in the league? Let's talk about that. Alright, so I just wanted to kind of touch upon this with Clayster, man. If you don't know, Clayster, I think, is pretty much I think he's the oldest person in the league, and I would consider him to be like one of the COD fathers. I mean, I've seen him for a very long time, in the time frame of me watching competitive Call of Duty. And it's very interesting, his story, seeing him progress and what happened. I personally only started watching during Ghosts, and that was when he went from Obey, and then he went onto the Optic team with Embos, Scump, and Nadeshot. And then after Ghost was the first Jetpack game, and he was on an all-time high because he was on Optic. He made it, that was awesome. They were kind of the underdogs, but they won X Games, which is fucking awesome. And then he got dropped. He got dropped for Formal and Crim6, and he was kind of lost. He had to kind of find himself again as a player. So he was kind of like jumping from team to team. He was on Team Envy for the beginning of AW, and then somehow got himself onto Denial, which was JCap, Attach, and Replays, and they won COD Champs. And since then, he's jumped from team to team, going from Denial to then going to United and everything like that. And up until this time frame, it always seemed like he was on a good team, and then the team would kind of fall apart for one reason or another after the game ended. And as of right now, he sits as one of only, 3 players in the world that have 3 rings, which is amazing. On the most recent title was in Modern Warfare, and it was back when it was still 5v5, so he was on Dallas Empire with Crim6, Illy, Huke, and Shotzi, and they won COD Champs. They were a dominant team throughout the league, and it was very far in between any other team that actually stacked up against them. And it was insane to see that such an amazing team that I think it was 2 days after the league was in after COD Champs that they announced that it was going to go back to 4v4. We had about 3 years of 5v5, and all of a sudden, bam, back to 4v4. And honestly, it was really interesting to see that Clayster was the person that they chose. Obviously, I guess, the 3 young guns, Huke being just a monster, Illy and Shotzi had a really good standout game for their, I guess you could say, rookie year, right? But then you have Crim6 and then you have Clayster. And I really do think that if they didn't win COD Champs, that Crim6 probably would have been cut more so than Clayster. But because they won COD Champs, they're like, Crim6, they both have 3 rings. Crim6 is the winningest COD player in the world, so let's keep him. They both provide a lot of in-game leader type deals in their own way. Obviously, they're different. But then again, they dropped him, right? And it was going to be another beginning for Clayster. There he is again, back into the pit. Now he has to reform a team. He was on the best team in the world, and now he has to go back into the pit and pick any team he wanted to, which was cool. And he decided to pick up one of the teams that I was very excited for, New York Subliners. And he was going... last year for Modern Warfare, Subliners consisted of Zuma, Attach, Mac. Mac replaced Temp, and Accuracy. Yeah, and then everything kind of got shifted, and they kept Mac and Zuma, and then Clayster decided to go and play with Zuma on New York Subliners, which was amazing. Zuma's a great player. He's a great sub player. He's been playing COD for a very long time. He's been in the scene, so I thought that was going to be really cool seeing the duo back. And they picked up Hydra, which was like a European player, and he was like a young gun, 18 years old, and, it wouldn't be Clayster unless he had young guns on his team, and we'll get back to that. Obviously, with COVID, Hydra has not been able to play whatsoever, just because he hasn't been able to come over to the States. Otherwise, because everything is online, his ping will be ridiculous, so it doesn't even make sense to even try and play with him. Right before the league started, though, Zuma, you can't fault him at it. And it really stinks to see such a legend kind of go out like that. Where I forgot which game it was, but he had surgery on his thumb. And nowadays, it's kind of, it unfortunately wasn't a perfect heal. It wasn't that he had surgery on that finger, and it didn't heal completely, and now it was irritating him, and it made it hard for him to play to the best level that he wanted, but also to the level that he thought he could give to his teammates. So he decided to retire, which really sucked. So that leaves Clayster now not with this other veteran in Zuma. He has Mac Melts, which, don't get me wrong, he was good in MW. It was his rookie year last year. Came up from the AM scene. Good for him. I'm glad that, we're going to be seeing that a lot more. We're going to be seeing a lot more in coming years, where a lot of amateurs are going to come up to the top scenes as more and more players that are aged or veteraned kind of retire. But then again, it comes down to the luck that Clayster has, and he finds himself on this shambles of a team. Don't get me wrong, you have Mac, right? Cool, awesome. And then Hydra can't play, who they picked up, and he can't play either. So what do? They picked up Asim to kind of fill in for them, and say what you want about him. I like Asim. I don't think he's a good fit. I don't think he's worth the time and effort, but the problem is that all the teams are made. So they picked up Asim, and I think he did well in the first few matches that they've been playing. He's been scrimming with them in as a substitute for Hydra this whole time, and then now with Zuma, out of nowhere, like 3 days before the league, Clayster's luck couldn't get any better. So they picked up Diamond Con. Diamond Con being one of the top amateurs, which I'm pretty sure was from Triumph, from Modern Warfare during the Challenger scene. He was on the academy team for New York Subliners, and I think within a week's time he was brought up to the Pro League. And again, no knock to him, man, but it's a different level, and I hate to see it. I hate to see someone with such talent, such as a Clayster, I hate to say it, like, they're not bad players by any means, but he sort of forced into, right, the cards that were dealt to him to surround himself with Asim, who was like a tier 2, tier 3, right? He's not a first pick by any means, right? And then Mac, who stayed on Subliners from last year. He has a lot of eyes on him because he did pretty well. And then you have Hydra obviously not playing, so now they pick up Diamond Con. And it's just another like young gun kid, who will be in the Pro League at one point. There's no doubt about it. But like, damn, man, I was really hoping to see Clayster on top again, and I feel like they're just 10 steps behind everyone else now because of the lack of practice and just the amount of shit that he had to go through just for this year. I mean, he could have picked any team in the league, minus like a FaZe, minus like an Optic. I get that. And it was just, it sucks to see it. I'm rooting for New York Subliners. I'm from New York. I'm a big New York fan. I've always, since they did franchising, I've always wanted New York to do well. But I'm worried. It sucks for Clayster, and it seems like he has the best worst luck. The best luck when it comes to being dealt the worst cards. How do you go from the number 1 team in the league, winning COD champs, having his 3rd ring, being one of the most winningest players in the world because of that win now, and in terms of revenue, and now he's he has tier 2 players surrounding him on his team 4. Like, what? I love Clayster, man. I very much have enjoyed watching him play and throughout these years, and it just sucks to see something like this happen. So, my fingers are crossed. I'm rooting for him. I really hope that he does well. It's just, once again, he has his work cut out for him. Tell me what you guys think down below in the comments. Who would you, in a perfect world, who would you have thought for Clayster to team with? If it was me, honestly, I think it would have been awesome to have Slasher and Clayster together. And then partnered with Kenny, which is awesome, and have that core 3. I think that would be really good. Just teamwork overall, but that's just me. But again, thank you everyone so much for watching. This is a quick little video I want to talk about for Clayster and my thoughts going into the league since it's still new, you know. But with that, this is Jetfire signing out. Have a nice day, everyone.